I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Perry Municipal Authority. It's August 19th at 6:15. Roll call, please.
Kolar.
Here.
Bond.
Here.
Dilbeck.
Here.
Ahern.
Here.
Marshall.
Here.
White.
Here.
Morrell. Wines.
Here.
Sterler.
Here. I do declare a quorum. Will you join me in an invocation, please? Most Heavenly Father, I just give you thanks for this day. I give you thanks for the opportunity to be able to gather here freely and conduct the business of the city. I just ask that you be with us this evening and make sure we direct all of our thoughts and actions in the best of the city. I pray that you be with us through all this. I pray this in your Son's name. Amen. Item 1 is the consent agenda. There's just one item: receive and approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
Roll call, please.
Kolar.
Yes.
Bond.
Yes.
Dilbeck.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines.
Yes.
Sterler.
Yes, thank you. Item 4, comments from those assembled pertaining to the items on the PMA agenda. Any comments? Seeing none. Item 5, proclamation, commendations, reports required by the governing body. None. Item 6, new business. Item 7,
Motion adjourned.
Second.
roll call, please.
Kolar.
Yes.
Bond.
Yes.
Dilbeck.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines.
Yes.
Sterler.
Yes. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Perry, August 19th at 6:17. Roll call, please.
Kolar.
Here.
Bond.
Here.
Dilbeck.
Here.
Ahern.
Here.
Marshall.
Here.
White.
Here.
Morrell. Wines.
Here.
Sterler.
Here. I do declare a quorum in this meeting also. Item number 1 is the consent agenda. We have quite a few things. Is there anything we want to talk about or approve as a whole? Move to approve. Whole.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Kolar.
Yes.
Bond.
Yes.
Dilbeck.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines.
Yes.
Sterler.
Yes, thank you. Item number 4, comments from those assembled pertaining to the items on the city agenda. Would you go to the podium, state your name, please?
Yes, my name is Debbie Wallace, and I'm here for myself and my mother, Penny Pryor. I live at 1302 North 2nd Street. For over 24 years, my mother bought the home. We have a flooding issue in the Sorrell addition. Our house continuously floods over our driveway, over the curb, and down the easement. We're putting in our 4th floor. I have tried to talk to the last 4 mayors, the city manager, and others. And now I'm coming to the city council to ask for help to stop the flooding issue so my mom and I can live in our home without having to live in water. Right now we are on concrete floors and I need some help, and that's why I'm here today. Thank you for your time. Now I need to know what I have to do next. Thank you.
I'll get with Larry this week. He's out today. Supposedly his back's hurt or something. I'll get with him the first chance I get when he's back in the office. We'll have this discussion, okay?
I'd appreciate it
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have a cell phone number?
I have. I've left it numerous times. Yes, I do. Would
Yeah.
you like it?
Yeah.
580. My mother has one as well, if you would like it as well.
I just need one.
Okay. And he's supposed to have pictures and videos, and I have plenty all the way back to 2000, And 12, I think I found pictures.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Item number 5, proclamation, accommodations, reports required by the governing body. Seeing none, we will go on to item 6, the city manager's report. Larry is down on his back, I guess, and so he's unable to be here this evening, so we'll just skip over that. Move on to item number 7, the chief financial officer's report. Sir?
Well, you guys are getting month number 1 of financials. These are usually the worst financials because every once in a while we get a big skew in activity. This one's not near like what we usually see in month 1. A lot of times with the swimming pool expenses and those kind of things, we get a skew and all of a sudden you guys are gonna see these huge percentages on budget. Well, it's only, and parks are also that way, but it's always just the departments that have, 3, 4, 5 months of activity in the year, and then the rest of the year they go dormant. So we don't have, we won't have year-round expenses. Really, this month, there are not that situation, at least anything that's kicking out over 10% as far as expenditure budgets go. I have a couple of good notes for you, things to note. Hotel motel tax, I told you, the month of July's deposit was the lowest that we had in the trailing since Walmart had closed effectively. This month, we had $158,000 coming in August, which will be the largest amount that we've had in that time period. So in a 1 month span, we've gone from the lowest to the highest in sales tax collections. Mind you, confidential reports aren't out yet, so I haven't got to review, peruse to see if there was something just skewed that made that a whole lot different. We'll do that, should be out on the 20th, and we'll be able to look at that, so tomorrow. Get that, but overall, that's good news for us. Mind you, I would rather our sales tax kind of be flat, so we know what we're going to get, and we can project on it, and it's not on the 8th or the 9th of the month, Dixie and I are opening up the browser going, how much is it gonna be? It's kind of hard to project and plan whenever we've had the lowest and the highest in back-to-back months. So that's where we are. That's just one of the things we will continue to deal with. The other nice thing was hotel motel tax at $15,000. We want that to be almost $18,000 overall, but it is up. We're keeping in that $15,000, $18,000 range. As long as we can stay in that range, we'll be okay on what our commitments are out of that. For those of you that are new to council and don't know for sure, that we have committed that hotel motel tax to making the debt payment on what was the ballpark, the D9 ballpark out there. And so whenever I tell you that we need, $17,800 a month in order to make that payment, that's kind of what I'm referring to. So whenever we gauge that, and one of the reasons we look at that is because it is a driver on debt service. Now, I will tell you that historically, we have over collected on that money. So early on, whenever we didn't have that, we have sufficient funds. I mean, we have almost $200,000 the motel tax set aside to continue to make that payment whenever it does fall below the $17,000. So don't go panic on me and go, oh my gosh, what are we going to do whenever that doesn't happen? No, we've got money set aside, but overall, that's one of the numbers that we want to make sure stays in that $17,000, $18,000 range, so that we can make that payment. Yes, we did lose money for the month so far, which for the year, which is 1 month. But I'm not that worried about it. Related to the general fund, there's still some additional transfer money that we could have made. I chose not to make that, just in keeping our cash accounts balanced and keeping those things where they need to be. So we did move money from the municipal authority over to the general fund like we always do. We moved some, we just didn't move everything that we would have to move. On the municipal authority, looking at that, guys, electric revenues, it finally got warm. We had talked about June, how June was kind of flat. July, good Lord finally turned on the heat and brought us some higher temperatures, which as a result means people run air conditioners. When people run air conditioners, means that our revenues go up. And that's about the nuts and bolts of it. So, we did, 10% is on a seasonal piece, not, normally we say 8%, that's 1/12 of the year would be 8%. So we always look at that. But on a seasonal piece for utilities, we expect between 10 and 11% on our electric and our water during these months, during June, July, and August. And then we'll fall off in November, December, and January, in the cooler months, whenever people don't necessarily have all electric houses, they are heating with gas during that time. So, you know, we have that. Looking at it though, overall expenses and overall numbers, pretty much in line. For 1 month, there's not a trend, there's nothing there that I'm gonna tell you we need to worry about financially, something going on. Yes, we will make money in our utilities during June, July, August, and most of the time even in September. So that's when we make money. We will start losing money whenever we get to November, December, January, February. It's just how it runs. We have a lot of fixed costs. We don't have a lot of variable costs. So we have to make money in the summer months, and we'll lose money in the winter months related to utilities. I don't really have anything big other than those things for you. I will reiterate, I was pretty excited about the sales tax whenever we looked at it this month. That was unplanned for, but it is going to be a good blessing for us, so we're happy to have that. So that's good. Any questions?
No questions? All right. Thank you, Russ. Item number 8, consider appointment of trustee to seat number 6 to a 4-year term on the Perry Memorial Hospital Authority, nominated by candidates. Nomination of candidates should be made by Ward 3 council persons.
We got one.
You got one?
Got one.
What a
Leanne
hero.
Abbott? Is that right? Yes. She's a retired physician's assistant. Should be interested in joining, so.
Who's the first?
Leanne.
Leanne.
So you're making that in the form of a
I
nomination?
would make that a form of nomination if I remember to, yes. So I'll nominate Leanne as.
Second.
Any more nominations? All right, roll call, please.
Kohler.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Dilbeck.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Well, congratulations
Thank you.
Thank you.
and happy birthday.
How did you know that?
I know a lot of things.
Thank you. I knew it was right.
It's all over Facebook, okay?
I forgot.
All right, let's see, go ahead.
Can you, Leanne, could you provide me with your contact info?
Absolutely.
Cell and email
Yes.
later? Okay, thank you.
Okay, item number 9, discuss and consider approval of application for payment number 1 in the amount of $90,507.77 to North Central Construction to be paid with the CDBG funds for construction services for Phase 3 Master Sewer Project, sewer line replacement, CDBG number 17299-18 project. This is the Phase 3 sewer project we're doing up on, around the Brookwood area. We just need to pay them for their first pay requirement. And Blaine has signed off on this, our engineer.
Motion to approve the invoice.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Kohler.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Dilbeck.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Item number 10, consider approval of application for payment number 1 to Walter Morgan Construction Incorporated pursuant to the schedule of values on the wastewater treatment plant and Fluent Lift Station renovation project in the amount of $86,079.88 pursuant to the certification of Monsoon Consultant City Engineer. This is the lift station that our pumps went out on several months back. They've begun construction construction out there. And Blaine has also signed off on this invoice.
Move to approve payment.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Coldiron.
Yes.
Bond.
Yes.
Dilbeck.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Lyons. Yes. Stroller.
Yes, thank you. Okay, consider approval of pay application number 7 in the amount of $75,635.01 to Evans and Associate Construction Incorporated for work performed on 2018 street improvement projects, including East Boundary, 12th Street, Birch Street, Grove Street, and Jackson Street. I'm just so excited not to see Park Lane.
Why are
Park
they so
Street.
late? Those roads got done a long time ago. Why are we just?
They're still working on, oh, you're right. This may be like Holly, like Jackson,
They're still on Grove.
yeah, oh, this, yeah, they're still on Grove. Jackson, this may be engineering, cause I know Jackson's gonna get some new work done. Huh?
We just did,
I don't know,
Jack.
if you look at the pay up under 11, it should give you one.
Just seems weird. I thought we paid at least some of this for those.
Hey, I'm just happy not to see Park Lane on there anymore.
Go to the very next.
This construction building.
Engineering would have been that other company too. This is Evans, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, this is for work.
Huh?
This would have been for work.
Right.
Just seems like it came in pretty late, and I thought we'd already paid several payments on those streets specifically.
Well, let's see these numbers up. You're right, we paid several.
I just thought those would be finished already.
I don't know,
What?
tell you how much money's left on the contract if you look at that. Mike, it tells you the original contract was $1,004,000, and after this payment, the balance is $632,000, so we're not even halfway.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Coldiron.
Yes.
Bond.
Yes.
Dilbeck.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Lyons.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Item number 12, consider approval of ordinance number 2019-16 of the City Council of the City of Perry, Oklahoma, amending Chapter 17, Article 2 of the Perry Municipal Code 2018 supplement by the amendment of Section 17-02F by making the amount of the residential deposit consistent with disconnect after the minimum deposit amount, lowering the reconnection fee and eliminating the after normal business hour reconnection fee by the amendment of Section 17-02G by adding the drainage fee to the utility crediting procedure, providing for repealer savings clause, codification, severability, effective date, and declaring an emergency. Okay, this is the item that we spoke about last time, for quite some time. What they have done is, what Bryce has done is, if you have $150 deposit or you have no deposit, the new ordinance states that if you've been a paying customer for 5 years and you have one offense, your first offense, you get a pass. Your second offense, your deposit goes to $300. So if you have a $150 deposit, or in your instance, Derek, you talked about last time having no deposit, the first time you get a pass. The second time you go to $300. And Russ put back there, if you happen to go back to item 12, it's pretty interesting actually. page 2, the second page under tab 12. This is 24 non-payment issues that we've had. It goes all the way back to 1983 up to 2014.
Yeah, and these were all customers that we had at least 5 years. There were more that year.
Go ahead
There were
with that.
Well, there were 56 total that year, but one of the concerns, one of the discussions that I got last time was, what about people that have had service for a long time? You know, they're really good customers and maybe they get a hiccup, you know. And guys, remember, we're talking about raising the deposit whenever we have had to go out and turn them off. Not that they've had a late payment, that's not gonna raise your deposit. But whenever we actually have to physically go out and turn you off, because not only did you not meet the late payment timing and get it in, but we had to send somebody out, disconnect the meter, and then send somebody back out. So the concern was less than 5 years, you know, I mean, hey, maybe that could be transient, you know, and I'm not saying transient in a bad way, but just people moving into town, people leaving. That group overall, so in 2018, our total population was over $18,000 of people left owing us bills on the 56 people that left town altogether. So we narrowed that down just to say, hey, what about these longer term people, well, like Derek, you know, brought up, and what about that situation? Well, guys, even in looking at the over 5 years, we still run into that problem. We still run into people leaving us. It was over $6,500 if you add those numbers up. And these were people that had been here for 5 years and more. But what we did find, and the more you looked at it, was as they started getting late payment penalties, you know, so we didn't even necessarily cut these people off, but if you started paying late, the propensity for you to end up on this list of still owing us money whenever it's all said and done drastically increases. And just like you would expect. I mean, if I'm paying late once, at some point, maybe I'm not gonna get around to paying my whole bill at all. You see what I'm saying? And so the more times this happened, the more likely it is that they're going to skip out still owing us money. As you can see on here, there's 3 of them that actually, by the time their deposits and everything else got applied, there were only 3 of them that we actually even sent a refund to. You know, that's a little bit telltale for us. But look at what the average of, if you take those average, that $18,000 that was still owed divided by the 56, the average person leaves us owing $321. So if we talked about that, it goes back to, I think Dick said Meredith had done, or was here at that meeting when we talked about raising it. But bottom line, you know, the $300 just barely covers what we have. Matter of fact, if you go down this list, there was a $350 deposit that still owed us $302 after the deposit was applied. You know, we're never going to collect that. I'm not going to say never, but more than likely we're not going to collect that. The only way we usually collect those after we turn it off and do that is if they want service back on, because they're the ones that are going to pay the extra money, plus they're going to pay their bill and get it paid out. So you guys have charged us overall with preserving the assets of the city and trying to bring you all recommendations of what best secures our customers. That's kind of what we worked out here, and kind of when we kicked it around, when we looked at the numbers, and when we said, hey, what's the best policy that we can do? What's the best idea? This seems to be it. It still gives a grace period. Hey, if you end up, you know, getting cut off, not you just have penalty, but you end up getting cut off, and you've been a customer for more than 5 years, we'll give you that one time, okay? Hey, accidents happen, people travel, they're out of town, they don't get the bills, whatever. You know, a lot of that happens. You get cut off one time, that's okay. We won't up your deposit. But if you come back for a second one, that's whenever we're gonna change the deposit limit, and we're gonna bring our deposit back. Guys, don't think of deposits as a penalty. It's really just paying for the services that you're going to receive. Now, it's a prepayment. Matter of fact, I wish that most everything we did was a prepayment situation. One day, our technology will be there. One day, we will get to only have prepaid electric and water and sewer and trash bills. I mean, the technology will be there that, oh, look, your $200, you put up $200 this week, you ran through $200 of it, it's now time for you to put another $200 on your account. And we'll go 100% to prepayment, and whenever we do, that's gonna be the best thing in the world. Now we're never exposed to a loss. Now all we ever have is money that we need to refund back to the customer that they didn't use at the end of time. So what we're trying to bring and what we're trying to do is preserve our assets. You know, I don't want to lose $18,000 next year. I mean, if you go back to 16, you know, we lost over $29,000 in this same situation, just with customers skipping out and moving on. You know, and that number's ranged from 17,000 to 29,000 just in the last 3 years. So we want to try to protect that, and we're trying to eliminate all that we can. Will it ever be perfect? No. And will there always be exceptions to the situation? Yes. But for Autumn's sake, and for Dixie's sake, and for those that have to deal with customer service day in and day out and have to do that, we want to give them something that they can hang their hat on, something that they can say, this is what the rule's gonna be.
So, reading through this, one of the things that you mentioned was it being similar to a Pike Pass and things like that, which I get. Some of the technology that is there is the EFT or the drafting. I think that would also help. Is that, I mean, that's something that we don't have today. We have online payments, but it's not the
Mine's
same as
auto-drafted.
on the
No,
auto
we
draft.
have auto draft.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you can sign up for auto draft and it will come out, you know, on the 15th of the month.
Yeah, just before the 20th it comes out.
Yeah, and
That's
we also,
something, I think, that
and
we
that's it
can-
also, we also offer average billing, you know, to those customers. If somebody's worried that, oh, I can't afford the $400, you know, I mean, but I could pay $175, you know, every month, and my normal bill's $120, well, that'll offset a $400 bill during the hot summer months. And so average billing is another piece that, that citizens can sign up for, to help
And can you
curb
only
those.
sign up like in October or November
For the
for average billing?
That's true.
Yeah,
And you have to have been
customer.
a customer for a year, right?
Right,
Yeah,
So it's
so they
not
can
just-
have something to average.
right.
Any further discussion? I think it's a good resolution to all the discussion we had last meeting.
And administratively, Dixie, it's pretty easy to,
Yes, this would be
okay.
much easier than some of the things we talked about.
Okay. I make a motion to approve ordinance number 2019-16.
Second.
Any further discussion? Last chance. Roll call, please.
Kolar,
No.
Bond,
Yes.
Gilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White. Wines,
No.
Stroller.
Yes.
So if passed, you can't pass the emergency. You know, well, you can try.
No,
You can try to
You
the
try.
emergency.
You
Maybe.
can try. Somebody
We
wants to-
explained that part of it, especially for those that aren't.
Well, you have to have 7 votes to vote on the emergency. The emergency makes it immediately effective, and you don't have to publish the entire ordinance, which saves some publication costs. Sometimes councilmen who are persons that vote against the ordinance vote for the emergency for those reasons, and sometimes they don't.
But the ordinance is passed.
I'll make a motion on the emergency.
Second.
Roll call on the emergency, please.
Kolar,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Gilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Wines,
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes, thank you. Item 13, consider authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Frontier Cedar Cutting in the amount of $11,250 to remove 30 acres of eastern red cedar trees at CCC Park to permit in the future a controlled burn to remove red cedar skeletons, kill young cedars, and improve native grass stand, providing for the reimbursement to the city from a grant in the amount of $4,500. This is the project out at CC Lake that they've been doing a lot of work out there, all the trails. The way it was explained to me is they'll come in and cut these cedars down and leave them set for a couple of years until they die and all the sap runs out of them and dries up and they become in condition that they can be burned. And then they'll go in and burn the whole area, burn up those trees, and then all that native grass will grow up and improve the park. I don't remember the exact number, But OSU put out a study one day, or some time back, that a cedar tree will drink like 8 gallons of water a day. So cedar trees are growing. It's really tough ever getting grass to grow, plus it's shade and things like that, so. But anyway, there is a $4,500 grant that will be partially, be a partial reimbursement for this. And Bryce, you want to tell them about the Monarch?
Well, yeah, it's for the hibernation of the monarch butterfly. The thought is that once these trees are felled, they'll be allowed to stay there, and then you'll burn out the property, and then it'll grow up in native grass, and the butterflies, when they migrate, the monarchs, when they migrate, will have a place to come and stay. That's the purpose of the grant.
How's the Monarch fly? Who's doing this today for us?
Did we actually go out for bid on that? Didn't see.
There were competitive quotes that were given.
Was this the only one we got back?
This is the one we got back. The last time we went out for it, because we did this before, the bids were a lot higher. And so $4,500 didn't mean much to it. But this was actually something, he was here, he could speak to it, because he's been the one that's been handling this. But this is the lowest bid that we've gotten.
What do you want to do, council?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Kolar,
Yes.
Bond,
Yes.
Dilbeck,
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Wines. Yes. Strawn.
Yes, thank you. Item 14, consider approval of the amendment number 2, change order to the automated water and electric meter reader systems project agreement. There was some water meters, the way I understand it, that PMI did not want to install because of a spud issue. So is that right, Bryce? These are
No.
coming back? Huh?
No, you're close. Actually, you already saw a second change order.
Right.
There was a larger number of these. And the issue was, we were putting in a water meter which was a different size than what was coming out of the residence. So you had to put this meter spud in to connect it. But there was a larger number that needed to be corrected, totally corrected, above the ones that just had to have the spud put in. What they're doing is, this is the price to install the spud. We reduced the number of ones that they would do, so it reduced the net cost to us. And then there's, several dozen left, water meter boxes and things which we're gonna have to do, our crews are gonna have to do when they have time to do. It was never the purpose of that contract for the contract to repair our concrete meter boxes and to fix that. It was to install the meter, And in many cases, you can't, because the space isn't adequate, because the thing has caved in and the like. So there's a few dozen of those that we're gonna have to do. So what this does is it lowers the number that are subject to the spud. It also provides for additional electric meters that we have to buy. Dixie can speak to that. I don't really understand why we didn't get the order number right the first time.
Well, at the time we made the original order, we were looking at a number of vacant accounts and places where we probably were not going to put the new meters, because if those houses or those locations were never going to be inhabitable again, or for whatever reason. And we intentionally shot the number low anyway, because these are proprietary technology in there and we cannot return them. So if we got, you know, a bunch of extra, that's a lot of money sitting on the shelf, and we didn't want to do that. So we were shooting the number low and then trying to figure out how many weren't going to be replaced anyway. And we knew at the end we would have to go back in on the same price that was bid and purchase the rest when we got to the end and we knew the exact number.
And this is the price, and then there's a price under the contract to install these. So really, the change order is just, there's going to be 206 water meters, and I think that they've probably already been done, right?
They're in the process.
In the process of being done, because we already approved this before. It's actually reducing the number, reducing the amount of money, and then the second part is adding those electric meters, which we're gonna buy and install pursuant to the contract. And pretty soon this will be done. Now, we're already receiving data, right?
Yes, we are.
And it's cutting, well, why don't you talk about the success of the project
Well, we
today?
have, before we started this project, we had 2 to 3 meter readers that read meters 7 days out of the month, on average, 7, 8 days, to get all of our meter reading done. This last month, we had 1 meter reader that read for 2 days. And so it's an astounding difference just in the time it's taking. And then the possibility of errors is so much lessened because we're getting that in electronically, and there's not any transposing numbers, or, you know, somebody got it wrong, or they're out, of course, out there in the heat or the rain or whatever the case may be. So it's saving a lot. We're very appreciative of it.
I talked to Autumn also when I was at City Hall one day, and she was telling me that there's been a couple phone calls that she's made to citizens, that she has a screen, or 3 or 4 screens, right? And she can see like your water usage. And she's called in customers and said, I don't know what's going on, but it looks like to me you're using a whole lot of water. And so you might have a water leak or something. And I mean, that's helpful to the citizen and it's helpful to us. And then there were some folks that were upset about their electric bill. And, you know, my electric bill is so much more this month than what it was last month. So I went into Autumn and I said, you know, I think my electric bill was too high this month. And she pulls up my electric, my account, and immediately she says, well, it was $10 higher last month, or this same month last year. So it's just neat that all the technology that, you know, she can give the customer immediately without having to go do an extensive amount of research. So I think it's pretty neat.
The addresses that are listed in here, what are these addresses?
Those are the ones that the water crews were still having to do. That was Exhibit 1 or Exhibit A to that.
Mine's not listed on here. I don't know.
Okay, yours may have fallen in a different category.
Okay.
But, because some of them were just not having to do the extra work, and those are the ones that were requiring extra work.
Still want to be forgotten.
Oh, we're gonna leave you off.
Send the meter reader out to your house.
We're not gonna charge you though, that extra meter reading fee. Remember, we had a fee for coming out reading your meter. We won't charge you that.
Okay, good. I want one. I want to be.
All right, what do you want to do with item number 14?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Colner.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Dilbeck.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines. Yes. Stroller.
Yes. Item number 15, consider approval of resolution number 2019-07 of the City Council of the City of Perry, Oklahoma, accepting a Federal Aviation Administration grant offer of $56,700 for the Airport Improvement Project, FAA project number 3-40-0077-014-2019 at the Perry Municipal Airport, and for the design only for install fuel systems and design for the improvement of the airport drainage. Provide for $6,300 local match and authorize the mayor and the city clerk to execute the grant agreement and all necessary documents. Bryce, you want to talk about this? The airport manager's here, if you guys have any questions of him also. Terrence, you want to talk?
Sure. All right, so we had a Toby come out, and I think the last airport manager had set up a pay at the pump system, which was going to be great. That was going to pull in some people in the evenings in which the airport's not manned. They go up, they run a card, you get a lot of evening flights out of that. Well, I had Toby, the engineer, come down, and we took a look at what it was going to take to do that. Now, according to what we had, it was just the install of the unit itself. Now, getting the peripherals out there, had to get 110 out to the unit, which was either bored underground or saw cut. Problem with either of those is heavy airplanes, you bore underground, you soften the dirt. Saw cutting, you get into having to replace a section of trench, and that trench has to be done according to the FAA. So they'll basically lay down concrete and set up, do core samples and check it out. If all's well, they leave it. If it's not, they'll rip it back out and do it again. Well, after we started looking at it, the way it was set up, we figured out the cost was going to be much more than what we were just going to see. Not only that, but when we started kind of looking around, checking out the old system, we've got black pipe that's running underground from the jet pump and the aviation, or the avgas pump, all the way out to the island. And the problem is you run black pipe, and in Oklahoma soil, it's pretty acidic. Tends to eat up black pipe pretty quickly. The Quail Creek addition is a pretty good example of that. All that pipe's been switched out from that to poly. So we've got black pipe under the ground. The tanks themselves seem to be in good working order, but as for the peripherals, you can't really see underneath to see it. That system is, from the paperwork I can find, was put in around 1984, which was the year I was born. So it's been there a while.
So you already graduated high school, Terrence.
Just saying. So, anyways, we got to looking at it, and we'd kind of come to the conclusion, myself and Toby, that we were putting a Band-Aid on something that was going to lead to problems later. We're running 100 low lead out there, so it's still leaded fuel, and it's all run under concrete. The entire ramp area, it runs from the jet pumps out. If those peripherals give up, they're going to dump aviation fuel all up underneath that, which means all of the concrete's going to have to come out. They're going to start digging down and scraping until they don't get any more fumes. All that'll have to be disposed of, taken out, dried, and whatever magic they do on that stuff. But so we'd kind of come to the conclusion that it's probably coming time where we need to just shut that system down and move on to a newer system. The newer systems are quite a bit better. They're above ground. It's all in one. It basically comes on a flatbed semi-trailer. You run electric right over to where you want it, put it on a pad, and slide it off, hook it up. And all the peripherals are there. It's double-walled tank, so that covers the spill problem. And according to the OCC, from what Toby has told me, they have required those to be ballistic rated. So not only is it double-walled, but the double wall has to be filled in with concrete. So it makes for pretty much a tank, from what we can figure, is about a warranty of 30 to 40 years. The peripheral's probably a little bit less than that, but it'll be all stainless, so pretty good system. So we just kind of came back and forth and weighed the idea of, okay, what's it going to cost with the FAA grant to put this system in with what we're going to have to do. We've got a 90-10 set. So the FAA requires, or gives us 90% of it, we pay 10%, and then the whole system goes in. They just started doing that for fuel systems, so we don't really know how long they're going to continue to do it like that, at least for a complete fuel system. If that's the case, we don't have any quotes on those yet because we are just doing the surveying, and this was a pretty recent deal. The tanks, once they're put in, shouldn't be an issue. But, we run through enough avgas and stuff, it would be very advantageous. Plus, we'd be sucking in a lot of people at night that probably would stop there, except on AirNav, it says we're just 8 to 5. So they could, if it just said, pay at the pump, they'd probably come in the middle of the night. I know personally flying, I've made several stops in the middle of the night and fueled my bird, so. That's pretty much what we're looking at on that deal. Just trying to keep from having some issues later down the road.
When do you expect to have some kind of estimate?
I believe Toby said he could start working on it. Well, he started on it about 2 or 3 weeks ago, trying to figure out the survey part. He said he should be able to have it to me pretty quick. It takes about a year to build the tank. They are on demand, basically. So I would say probably a month or two, I could probably get a rough estimate. And that may be overshooting a little bit. He could probably have me one next week or two if he wanted to. But I can check with him on that.
Bryce, is this dollar figure pertaining to the old system or to this new system that,
It pertains to the engineering.
the engineering?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's for design of both. And do you know what the drainage component is?
That'll be the north end. That's been on the works, I guess, for a year or two. That was on the works whenever I first got here. And what it is there's drainage on the north side, the last hangar down there, there's a big culvert where all the drainage drops out and just runs down into a creek. And what that is figuring out what it's gonna take to finish leveling that off and add the storm sewer all the way down to the creek and make some use out of some land in case somebody wants to build a hangar there.
Any questions for Terrence?
All of these projects are part of our master airport plan, correct?
Yes, yes. This one falls under the 5-year.
Yeah, okay.
It was just
Okay.
one we
Sorry.
didn't, oh, sorry about that. It was just one we didn't anticipate right off the bat. It was just after starting to look at it, it was like, we don't want to get a leak.
If I recall correctly, we approved to pay at the pump already, it's just, this is changing the plan that,
Yeah.
on the.
Well, I was gonna say, if any of y'all don't know Terrence, this is Terrence Hewlett. He's the new airport manager. Hewlett name is very well known in this town.
I know. Some good, some bad, I suppose. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you,
Thank
Terrence.
you.
What do you want to do with the resolution, Counselor?
It's just basically saying we pay $6,300 and then
Mm-hmm.
you get a bunch more from the government.
Yeah.
I move to approve it.
Second.
The 90-10 thing is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, roll call, please.
Kolar.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Philby.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Thank you. Item 16, any new business that we need to talk about tonight? I have some.
Does it qualify?
Yeah.
Well, it has to qualify.
I found out today.
Okay.
I found out today I won the election at the NODA.
Oh.
So now we have a representative on the NODA board. So I got the phone call today, so I was pretty pleased about that. Does that qualify?
Qualifies.
Thank you,
Doesn't
Council.
get anything, that it qualifies.
All right, any other new business? Seeing none, motion on item 17,
Motion to adjourn. Second.
roll call please.
Kolar.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Philbeck.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.